Okay, hi, welcome back. So this is day 4 of my Stardew Valley Rain Totem Rush guide. um, so a couple things to note today. So far we've just been trying to maximize the amount of gold we have early on in the game, and that's going to continue. But day 4 is a bit more freeform than days 2 and 3, where we were just fishing as much as we possibly could. We also need to think about cutting some wood down to make another chest, because tomorrow the mines are going to open and we're going to spend a lot of time in there, and that's going to be crucial to the success of the run. And we need a place to put all of our minely spoils. So we need to cut some wood down at some point, and I'm actually going to check the luck we have for today, because that will influence my decision of tree I decide to cut down. And that's actually because when you have great luck or good luck, you have a higher chance of getting a seed of whatever tree you are cutting down at that moment in time. And one of the restraints we have for this run is we need pine tar to actually make rain totems. So that involves tapping pine trees, and over a course of 4 days, I think, you get a renewable resource of pine tar. We'll need actually quite a lot to make it sustainable, and if we have our own pine cones and grow our own pine trees, we can make a geographically convenient forest. So that's going to be one of the things that we will not be doing today, because we will probably just cut a bunch of pine trees down and get nothing for it. So I'm going to cut down things that aren't pine trees. And also, it's not raining today, so we need to water our crops. So just do that quickly. And we're still at farming level 0, because the only way you get farming experience is actually harvesting the crop. So all of these actions are not gaining us experience, so we're still very inefficient, and we use 2 energy every time. And we can also water the same place twice, which is doubly inefficient. And you can see we have a missing patch here. Crows can eat your crops if you don't have a scarecrow, which is unfortunate, and it is RNG based, but you can't build a scarecrow until you are farming level 1, so we don't really have an option. And it was a parsnip that the crow ate, which is fine. If it were a cauliflower or the bean, I would be pretty upset, because I only have one of each of those. And I deliberately planted them day 1 so that they would be ready for a milestone. If they get eaten and they have to replace it, then I won't replace it, because it fails its purpose. Okay, we're going to check. So thank you, Willie. We already have the rod, though. That's what we bought yesterday. This is a cosmetic hat shop, which we're going to ignore. We fell asleep in the forest yesterday. We did not get an energy penalty, as I thought, which is good. And also, because we had no money, the medical care was free. Thank you, Harvey. So what we need now, we're going to get an axe. We don't need a broken trident yet. And we'll be fishing more gold chub, so that's not a waste of space. So I'm going to leave this alone. That is a pine tree. This is a maple or an oak. I think an oak, perhaps. And this is maple. But you can't tell because we aren't getting any of the seeds because we have terrible luck. So you kind of just... Oh, okay. We got a bunch of seeds. That's still unlikely though, so... oh, there's also an acorn. I promise a lot of acorns. Okay. I'm relatively confident in what I said about the luck. I can double check. It may have just been freakishly lucky. And then we're going to need 50 wood. We don't need this anymore. We do need the fishing rod. 39 bait. Could be worse, but that's fine. And actually, it's quicker to go this way. Even with that walking mistake, it's still quicker to go this way. To the left is the cave, which we won't really be using. Oh, and we got some foraging items up here, which is good. Leeks are great for energy. At some point, we also need to hand this in as a bundle. Probably... Oh, wow. Lots of leeks. That is good for us. Actually means we can use some of these leeks now. And we're gonna use this chest for the mines proper, but I'm just gonna place it somewhere out of the way. I'm just gonna put some of these things in here. Now, basically if I get some really crazy stuff fishing today that I just don't want to throw away, I will take the 20-30 minute walk loss and just put it in that chest over there. But otherwise, I would just be managing my inventory like days 2 and 3. And I won't be walking back if I just have an inventory full of trash. I will start unceremoniously dumping it back into the river. So this is a carp. Yep. It's a gold carp, which is what we like to see. And this is kind of at the point where we definitely want to have max extension as much as possible, because it does affect the quality of the fish. But maybe max and almost max are functionally the same, but we do get better treasure, so always try and max, always try and perfect. And if you have to choose between the two, take the treasure chest instead of the perfect. I think it's actually the same multiplier, but you get additional stuff. Three gold ore is not terrible. If you have excess coal, smelting gold bars and then just straight up selling them is not terrible. It's actually an ingredient for quality sprinklers, but we're not going quality sprinklers, so we actually can just sell them without worrying about the implications of selling raw resources we could use. And bait is actually really helpful today, because we might actually use all of the bait, depending on how quickly fish bite, and also where we're fishing up a lot of trash instead of fish. I find this might just be complete conjecture, but I find that the catch time for trash is quicker, so that can't just eat up all of our bait. So far, not the best catch. I mean, carp is the lowest value. Most of them being gold is helpful, but a base largemouth bass is worth 30, more than double a gold carp. So yeah, some of those would be appreciated. And it's not raining, so we can't catch catfish. And I think that's scripted into the game. Day 4 is always sunny. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Driftwood you can actually turn into coal with a recycling machine, but from my experience, we're not really coal starved for this run. And we're going to take the mining perks. Well, we probably won't get to level 10 mining in the time frame we're looking for. But we're diving basically completely through the mines, and there are preset floors that actually have mine carts that do give you coal, and they are like predetermined, and that's usually good enough for us. And getting around 10 coal from fishing for 3 days straight is actually not that uncommon either. I didn't check how much I had in the chest, but we got 6 yesterday alone, so... not the best luck right now. And one of the other reasons why we're fishing today is not just for money, but for energy. We want to try and build a stock... This looks like a largemouth bass. We want to build a stockpile of gold chub to actually use in the mines. So from... Well, this is energy, so we order... So from least valuable to most valuable, with chub exception at the end, because I don't want to confuse them and actually throw them away or anything. chub or bullhead, maybe? Yeah, chub. And a gold chub, which is good. Feeling pretty low on energy. I might just... We'll see, actually. We're getting to the point where we're running out of space, and I'm regretting not just eating those 2 leeks immediately. And this is a largemouth bass because that direction change was too large. It wasn't particularly jerky, but it was too large. Oh, it's a bullhead. And we got a diamond and 6 coal, which is actually fantastic. That's actually very, very good. Like I said, diamonds are worth 750. You can only get them through max extension, and 6 coal are quite valuable too. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow because we have the broken trident, which will make killing enemies a lot quicker early on. Maybe even one-shotting, we'll see. And we have a lot of coal already. The only thing that could really make this better is if we fish up a bunch of copper ore right now. But that's not particularly realistic. We're going back to the chest. No, I'm still going to trash it. To maybe even... Oh gosh. That was horrific movement. Oh gosh. That's not good. Oh my gosh. Well, I promised myself that I wouldn't reset if things went terribly, but something bad, very, very bad just happened, and that is if a villager actually walks over your chest in the overworld, they just destroy it and all of its contents. So we wasted a bunch of energy mining, foraging 50 wood, and we lost, what was inside, 2 leeks and a horseradish. And that really is my bad. I usually put it lower down, but I thought, oh, I'll put it a bit closer to the mines because that will make my life more efficient. And I forgot, Linus, the guy in the caveman kind of print, does actually just look at the lake from that position. So pretty upsetting. Does the diamond make up for it? Maybe, actually. That's like 7 largemouth bass. So we're probably going to finish fishing early and chop some more trees down. That's what we'll have to do to adapt to that horrific decision on my part. And now energy is becoming a problem, so think of ways. That's also why I wanted to go back to the chest. We basically lost 100 energy and food from the 2 leeks and the horseradish. But it is what it is. Yeah. So, we'll probably have to eat a chub. There's merits to not doing that, but 11 is actually a pretty decent amount of energy. And we'll have parsnips tomorrow too. Okay, we'll eat the silver chub. Yeah, we'll eat the silver chub for space. Something to note, if you're mouse cursor is actually hovering over the energy bar, the clock up in the top right, or your inventory. It at 12 coal. Wow. Okay, that's great. I'm feeling, well, I mean, so the chest should not be destroyed, but I'm feeling better and better about that costing us time and energy, because I'm actually getting some pretty decent fishing items. Yeah, so sorry, if the mouse cursor is actually hovering over one of the overlay displays, you won't be able to reel the fish in. So if I'm doing that, and then the fish bites, and I try and press K to reel it, it actually will not register, and I've actually lost a fish or two that way. Which, it's just something to keep in mind. Something very minor. I don't think many people probably know about it, but they don't talk about it. So, in case you think the game is like just not responding to you, it's because your mouse is over an overlay. I'm gonna eat one of these. 12 is approaching decent, because it's 45 times 12, which is 540, which is 2 whole bars of energy, because I only have 270. I would say the time it takes to cut down 4 trees, plus it's around 4 trees, it's not very long, it's the energy cost really, so we can probably leave here at, takes about 40 minutes to get back to the farm. Midnight. I mean, if we're at the farm, we probably don't want to fall asleep, just because we'll lose a bit of gold. And something interesting to note is, I don't know if you get charged based on the amount of money you fall asleep with, or if you get charged on the amount of money you make in the morning. Because if that's the case, we'll actually have several thousands of gold from all the fish that we put into the shopping bin. The shopping bin is like an all-purpose shop on your farm, which is very convenient, but you don't get the money on the day. That's the penalty. You can sell things to the general store or to Willie's immediately and get that gold for the day, whereas if you put it in the shipping bin, you have to wait a whole day. So I will probably look that up, but because I messed up and I have to chop wood anyway, I may as well just go to sleep in my bed for once. Not twice. I did it the first day, but not days 2 or 3. That's a carp, obviously. Hopefully I'm explaining these patterns well enough that people are actually starting to see the differences. I'm not particularly good at predicting bullheads, but you know it's at least not a carp. Like, it's not a carp right now. That's a bullhead or a largemouth. Yeah. In the bottom left you saw the brief scalp of Sebastian, who is another marriage candidate. I guess he's kind of like the emo rebel, I would say. Like, giving older, unwanted stepchild vibes. I think that's actually a pretty accurate description of him. And his younger sister is like a wondered golden child, so he rebels against that. That's basically flavor text at this point, because romancing him is not in our best interests in terms of money. Spouses do give you some benefits. I might pursue it later on in the year, actually, once our time is kind of freed up and we've already kind of got everything up and running. It might be a decent use of time. But yeah, I'm very laser focused on the things I need to do in spring right now. of that. Skillful, perfect plus fish. So obviously if you catch the fish before you finish relaying the chest, then you also lose the chest. Excuse me, that was my phone. Nothing urgent though. Just put it... there you go. So I'd say definitely by 11. If we're leaving, we should have enough time to cut down everything. I might actually cut down wood in the upper forest, actually, because if you cut it down completely, it renews. So it's a renewable source of wood, and it is also a pine tree, so we might get a pine tree without additional cost opportunities of having destroyed a pine tree permanently to get nothing. Yep, I mean, I've convinced myself in my head that that's a good idea, so that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'd say leave by 11. I need space for wood. If I do get pine cones, I guess I will drop the gold ore. 3 gold ore is... how much is a bar of gold? This isn't something I would know off the top of my head. But it's like 5 gold ore plus a coal is essentially a bar of the same material. It's around 250, I think. So 3 gold ore is like 150, but that's not even taking into account the processing time. So I'm not too bothered at throwing that away. We actually only have 1 piece of bait left, so I guess we'll just fish that up now and then go back to the farm. Nice. Okay, and then de-equip the fishing rod, because as you have probably seen, you can accidentally use the fishing rod and it counts as an energy use, even though you can't fish on land. And right now we're kind of worried about our energy consumption. And forget everything I said because we don't have the axe with us, so it will waste time to come back. That's something I should have realized. Yeah, so very early on, when you only have 12 slots, you can buy backpack upgrades, but they're actually 2,000 and 10,000, which is quite a lot of money this early on. So yeah, inventory choices can be a bit difficult at times. We're done with the fishing rod for a while. Take the axe out. We'll just preemptively take these things out because we will take them to the mines regardless. Anything else that we need to do? No, that's good for now. I mean, we're actually going to come back to the chest because we'll probably get things we don't need. Well, we'll definitely get sap, for example. So, yeah, we definitely need to eat a chub. So something I haven't actually spoken about is tool upgrades. So very similar to Harvest Moon. You can upgrade the quality of your tools, which is a permanent upgrade to them, and it increases the speed at which you can do certain actions. So 53 is fine. We'll actually get to bed before 1, which I think will have a huge effect. Oh. Well, it shouldn't. We'll need that tomorrow. We'll need that tomorrow. We were going to use the Broken Trident tomorrow. Anything else I'm neglecting to mention? No, I think that's it. Run to the bed. If you're equipping an item over your head, you actually have difficulties going to sleep. You have to enter the bed without anything selected. Just a random piece of information. And okay, level 6 fishing, not particularly useful. Okay, we made 8,000. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So it's 2 days of fishing, and then mining is actually 15% of that. And that's because of the 2 emeralds and the diamond, which is very, very good. So we're approaching 10,000 on day 5. That's not terrible. Sorry, yawning. Yeah, so I guess that's the end of day 4. Strategy was upended a little bit because of the chest being destroyed, but it didn't actually affect us because we ran out of fishing bait anyway. So once again, somehow we made it. Even though we made mistakes, they actually were minimized. So I guess I'm happy with this. So alright, so day 5 is where it starts to get a bit more interesting, I would say, and where the goals of the day actually become much more strict. So thank you for watching, and yeah, if you have any comments, feel free to leave them on the video.